Okay, hi everyone. Nice to be here with you today. I am Marcelo Fornet. Here with me is Masha, both of us from Aurora. We will be answering questions today, mostly focused on the Rainbow Bridge. We know everyone is really excited with the Aurora IDO happening really soon. Well, it will not happen today, but tomorrow. Today we will be mostly focusing on the Rainbow Bridge, but maybe in the end we can answer some short questions about the IDO. So, Masha, do you have already some questions there? Or?
Yes, sure. Hey, everyone. This is Marcelo, meet one of our team members. I encourage you all to ask questions about the bridge rather than IDO, because you had a chance to ask our CEO, Alex, about the IDO the other day, and he explained everything at length. So today we'll be featuring the questions about the bridge mostly. Marcelo, let's start with a short introduction. What do you do at the bridge? What issues you help to resolve? What you develop? What you focus on? Please tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, so I'm a former NEAR engineer. Right now, I'm a research engineer at Aurora, and I was developing the bridge for almost 1 year. Well, we put it in production last March, if I recall correctly. Building this project lasted for around 2 years, several people working on it. So I've been involved with the Rainbow Bridge from from a long time ago. Right now I'm working in Aurora at several places inside the company, and helping the engine folks and helping the Rainbow Bridge itself team, and mostly helping partners to onboard to Aurora with the technical part of the Aurora itself.
I see, very nice. So we just released the new bridge interface. Could you elaborate a little bit on that, about its new features, about some prompts, the better interface, the ability to scan transactions, etc., whatever you deem necessary and whatever you deem useful to mention to users?
Okay, yeah, sure. We are really excited about this new interface. We think it's pretty neat and will help also integrate new bridges that we are building right now. For this particular question, I was already opening this in my browser. Let me share this tab with you.
Yes, sure. You can share the screen. That's
okay. So I guess you all can see it. You can access the Rainbow Bridge, this new interface at rainbowbridge.app. And here you can see the new interface. Here you will be able to pick from which network to which network you can make transfers. Basically, this will allow you to make transfer about arbitrary fungible tokens that are already bridged. You may remember that the bridge works to transfer virtually any asset or any data between blockchains. In particular, we have built this application that allows people to send fungible token, mostly RC20s on Ethereum, to the fungible token standard on NEAR, which is NEP 141. So if you want to send some token from Ethereum to NEAR, let's say, well, right now I'm connected, but you can disconnect, and then if you connect, you will pop out a MetaMask notification. I don't know if you can see this, but in any case, the MetaMask will ask you to, in this case, I'm connected to Aurora mainnet. I can switch network to connect to Ethereum mainnet, given that I'm trying to transfer from Ethereum to NEAR. I'm here connected. I can connect to NEAR as well. This will redirect me to my wallet. Yeah, let's use instead Marcelo NEAR, which is my main account. And here you can see that we can make transfer from one account to the other. Only tokens that I have more than 0 balance will be displayed here, but you can see a full list of tokens that are whitelisted by this front end. But in any case, any type of token can be, any RC20 that is bridged from Ethereum to NEAR can be also sent. Let's choose, for the sake of this demo, DAI. We can pick 0.1. You can see that I only have 0.16 DAI. So if I continue, this will ask me to sign a transaction on Ethereum and so on and so on. You can see here some short fact about what's happening. If we want to, I'll try to make a quick transfer right now to see it working. From Ethereum to Near, it will take some time and some money, but from Near to Aurora, it will be actually really cheap. So we can send here one Near. I can transfer. It will ask me to confirm on the wallet application itself. This is an action that is happening on the Near blockchain. This is a transaction I signed with my account, and it's sent to the Near blockchain. So you can see here how this transfer was successful from Near to Aurora. And here you can see a list of all transfer I have done from between each pair of accounts. Here is a transfer that I need to finish from Near to Ethereum. I will not do it right now. But in general, this is the high-level overview of this new front end. We're really excited. You can see here in the fact several common questions that you may have. And in the future, we will include here more chains. In practice, right now, we have there is an implementation of a bridge between Near and the Binance Smart Chain, which is already deployed on testnet, and soon it will be deployed on mainnet as well. So hope that's a good intro, and hope you are excited to try it in the future. Please let us know any question, feedback, suggestion, or if you like it, also let us know. That's very exciting for our engineers working on that.
Thank you very much, Marcelo. I also know that a lot of questions inquire about the MetaMask connection lately. This is probably the result of the attack happened recently. Sometimes it just keeps connecting and nothing happens. Do you mind elaborating a little bit on that? Do you have any ideas why it would be happening and what can be the solutions, possible solutions for this problem?
Well, most of the solutions in this case are in our side. Recently, we have experienced a massive attack, which we see as a challenge, and we are like, it's almost sorted out completely right now. Like our main engineers have jumped into it immediately, and they have done an immense work in this regard. Basically, what's happening is that MetaMask requires an custom endpoint for Aurora. You can see this custom endpoint at doc.aurora.dev/develop. When MetaMask tries to connect to this endpoint, it will make a series of requests to make sure that this endpoint exposes the proper interface, which it's supposed to be talking to. Due to the massive amount of queries we were receiving in the last week, we started doing some sort of load balancing and throttling to the transactions, and MetaMask was not working properly. Right now, we have sorted out most of these situations, so this should not happen. If it happened, please let us know. We nonetheless are still trying to scale even more our solution. I don't know how familiar all of you are with Aurora, but just a small overview of how it works. This is a smart contract on Near, but we don't want people to use Near RPC to interact through our contract. So we have a layer on top of it, which is what we call the relayer, and all transactions go through this relayer, which is in charge of modifying the transaction so the contract on Near is able to process the transaction. This relayer is the one receiving this massive load. Well, it's been sorted out right now. All this means that we are also getting, like, part of the load was an attack, part of the load was actually legitimate transactions when Tristellaris was deployed. So we were also really excited about having all this load. This is the type of problem all engineers are always happy to solve, the problem where more people are actually using our applications.
Thank you very much. One popular question that users ask is if they can cancel a transaction. There is pretty much a warning about the transaction, that transaction cannot be canceled, and we have it in our frequently asked questions section as well. Can you please discuss this a little in more detail as to why exactly the transaction cannot be canceled? I know it's not an easy solution to, we probably will do it in the future. We will introduce this opportunity to cancel it, but as of now, it's a little difficult to do it. So can you please explain the reasons of why exactly it's technically right now not possible to do it?
Yes, of course. This actually is a very interesting question and touches part of the internal part of the bridge itself. So basically how the bridge works, how the connector, in particular, the connector that allows us to move fungible tokens from one network to the other is as following. We don't have a like atomic way to make a transaction from one network to the other. So what we do is that we put our tokens in some sort of lock on the native network. Let's say you want to transfer some DAI from Ethereum to Near. You put all these tokens in some lock contract, which you cannot touch it. And this contract will give you a certificate that you can, that the contracts are already in possession of the locker contract. So you can go to Near and you can mint these tokens on Near. Minting in this case means you will receive the exact same amount on Near side, showing the certificate. What's the problem? The problem here is that we cannot allow, like if you're in the middle of this process, if you just lock your tokens on Ethereum, you're going to Near to show the certificate to get your tokens back on Near side. We cannot allow in the middle of this process to give you back your tokens on Ethereum at this step, because otherwise you can have your tokens on Near and on Ethereum at the same time, which will of course break the invariance we're trying to make with this bridge. With that said, this is a little bit technical, but with that said, what we mean is that you need to finish the full transaction in one regard, like from Ethereum to Near, or vice versa, or from Near to Ethereum, in order to send the tokens back. So I know these questions mostly arise when you are sending your tokens from Near to Ethereum, because you put your tokens in a lock on Near side. You no longer have access to them until you actually recover them on Ethereum side. But Ethereum has high volatility of their gas price. So I understand that gas can be quite expensive, and if the amount being transferred is small, actually the gas price can be a significant part or percent of the full transaction being sent. So people mostly ask that question in that moment. Well, we try to put as many warnings as possible right now. Like we have been learned through several questions through this, and in the front end, we're trying to be as explicit as possible on letting people know about this particular situation before they actually do that, before they actually lock the tokens on Near. Because if they lock the tokens on Near, there is no way we can unlock them if they are not, well, actually on Near you're not unlocking, you are burning, but that's some technical part. If you start a transfer from Near to Ethereum, the only thing you can do to recover your tokens is actually recovering them on the other side. Right now, since this is a fundamental technical problem of this environment, which are not connected only through the bridge, which in some sense is a third-party app that allows us to move assets between the two blockchains, we are making a new design, which you can see in GitHub discussions in Rainbow, github.com/rainbow bridge/discussions. There you can see a proposal that we are implementing soon about fast finalization. This will allow us to transfer the tokens immediately in a single transaction and with a total predictable fee beforehand. So people, before doing the transfer, they will only require to do one transfer, and they will get the tokens from one side to the other immediately, and they will pay for the fee in the first step. So they will not be thinking about canceling the transaction itself. If they started, it will finish in a few seconds. Okay, so that's a service it's already designed. We are building it very soon.
Thank you very much. That was useful. Yeah. Our next question causes a lot of confusion in users, as I've noticed as well. And there is one user right now, even on the in the comments, asking us the same question. So tokens get wrapped, unwrapped when they are transferred from one blockchain to another and transferred via the bridge. Can you please elaborate more on this? Which tokens get wrapped, which tokens do not? If they are not wrapped in the process, how can we use them on Aurora? Is there any use at all in transferring the tokens that do not get wrapped to Aurora at all? Please explain a little bit in more detail.
Sure. Okay. Just first of all, let you know that we are trying as hard as possible to simplify this this process, and also the cognitive load it creates on the users and developers to remove as much of the wrapping part. So there are two different things to think about it here. Let's forget about the bridge for a second. For example, in Ethereum, we have ETH and we have wrapped ETH. So wrapped ETH exists on Ethereum for a practical reason. And what's wrapped ETH? Wrapped ETH is basically the same ETH token, but locked in a specific contract that implements the RC20 interface. This allows people to interact with ETH as if it were an RC20, and they can exchange on multiple DeFi applications. So that's one wrapped token that also exists on Near for Near and wrapped Near to implement some fungible token standards. So there is another issue or another type of wrapping, which is when you send one token from one blockchain to the other. In some sense, like it depends on how you want to interpret this. But in some sense, this is a wrapped token itself. Like if you have DAI on Ethereum side and you send it to Near, automatically this converts itself on Near DAI, or as we call it, NDAI. Because it's not DAI itself. It's not DAI itself, and it has a few security implications, few differences. Most of them are like you cannot use it on DeFi applications on Ethereum immediately. You need to send them back to the bridge. If there is a major failure, like we expect that nothing like that happen, either on Ethereum or Near, these tokens might actually get like there might be an issue to send them back to Ethereum. So these tokens, we call them NDAI. So these are wrapped tokens, but they are just the equivalent token on Aurora, on Near, from the token that already existed on Ethereum. So there is no way we can have a token from Ethereum on Near that it's not wrapped, because we wrap them all by adding the prefix N, and they implement different interface. In this case, is the NEP 141 on Near side. So now it gets more interesting when you have a wrapped token on Ethereum, like for example, wrapped Ethereum like wETH, and you send it through the bridge. So then through the bridge you can send both ETH and wETH. So you will have two different tokens. Like in practical effects, these are two different tokens on Near, and they are not treated at all like the same, even if they have the same value. These properties that they exhibit on the Ethereum side, where you can exchange them one by one through the wETH contract, they cannot be used on Near. Because of this, we are trying to completely discourage the use of wrapped tokens, like native wrapped tokens on foreigner on alien blockchain. Okay, so right now there is wETH on Near on Aurora, but we will make an effort for simplifying all this cognitive load, as I call it, to the user, and discourage the use of wETH. Notice that we cannot forbid the use of wETH. The only thing we can do is actually maybe removing from front end and trying to explain and educate people why this why it's way easier if we only have native non-wrapped tokens on different blockchains. And this will be the same when we have multiple bridges. I don't know if you got the chance to see the talk about our CEO in NearCon. He was talking, Alex Shevchenko, he was talking about bridges. He was talking about this particular problem of wrapping tokens. He actually was proposing one solution, which we will be also working towards that in the future. I do not go in again through that. I'll encourage all of you to take a look at that talk. It's publicly on YouTube. It's NearCon, Alex Shevchenko, about token consistency. Okay, so if you have any particular question about this, please, any other particular question about wrapped tokens between multiple blockchains, please ask them again, and I'll try to answer in more detail. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcelo. Tommy has a question. Why did Aurora decide to use ETH as the base currency?
That was a long discussion, and we all agreed that ETH was the best. The main reason for having ETH as the base token, it's because it allows 100% compatibility between contracts deployed on Ethereum and contracts deployed on Aurora. Basically, you need to change nothing from a contract that you deploy on Ethereum to a contract that you deployed on Aurora, and that even means that you don't need to take care of the base token you will be dealing with will be actually ETH and not Aurora. Also, Aurora, it's here to scale Ethereum ecosystem, not to explicitly compete with Ethereum, but to work together. So people already have ETH. They own this token, so they can use the Rainbow Bridge to move ETH to Aurora. They can use it here to pay fees, which actually, no, there is no need to pay fees right now, as there are zero fee right now. You're encouraged to use both mainnet and testnet with zero fee, but you can still do payments on it, and you can send them back through the bridge anytime you want. It was technically a little bit harder of all decisions, but in the end, it was worth having ETH as the base token. And actually, right now, Aurora itself, like the contract on Near, is the same contract that implements the NEP 141 standard for ETH. So on Near, you can use the same ETH as you have in Aurora. Basically, this means that if you own ETH on Near, because you bridge it from Ethereum to Near, that ETH is also available to you on a special account on site Aurora. Basically, the address of your account, it's the hash of your account ID on Near, and you can use it directly. On Aurora, and you can transfer either on site Aurora or on Near. So the main reason for having ETH was for 100% compatibility between contracts on Ethereum and on Aurora.
Thank you. Since we're already talking about tokens, Sergey has a question. He asked, is it available to transfer other tokens based on Ethereum like Matic, SKL via bridge to Aurora?
So Matic, it's the base token, if I'm not confused, of Polygon. In this case, Polygon, I guess, I'm not super familiar with all this, but I guess there is already a bridge between Polygon and Ethereum. It's like either explicit or implicit bridge where you can send tokens back and forth. So if you can send your Matic through Polygon to Ethereum, then through the bridge, you can send this token to Near. However, we're trying to discourage this use, as I was explaining before, because Matic, if I'm not messing things up, Matic is the native token on Polygon. And if you send it to Ethereum, automatically it's some sort of wrapped token on Ethereum. So it's not a native token on Ethereum. So if you send it to Near, then there will be a collision between Matic coming from Polygon, different Matic coming from Ethereum, which is a little bit hard to disambiguate at the code level. So short answer to your question is yes, you can transfer any token. Right now, you can do it for any ERC20 that is available on Ethereum. As we speak, we have been discussing with folks from Char Labs, which have built the bridge between NEAR and the SEC, and we are discussing about which are the next bridges to build. Definitely a bridge between NEAR and Polygon is one of the more in demand, one we are evaluating to do. Once we have a bridge between Polygon and NEAR, you can send Matic, you will be able to send Matic directly from Polygon to NEAR, and then you will be able to use it. Like everything which is available on NEAR will be available on Aurora, and either implicitly or explicitly, everything that goes to Aurora will pass through NEAR first to avoid all this wrapping token process. So yeah, you will be like other tokens you were mentioning, Masha, that they were mentioned. I'm not super familiar with them, but if they are available on Ethereum, they will be able to move to NEAR. If they are not native from Ethereum and are available on Ethereum, you can send it, though we will encourage the use of them through separate bridges to guarantee we have at all moments only one level of wrapping of each token. We don't want to double wrap any token at any moment. By double wrap, I mean if you send a token from Polygon to Ethereum, that's wrapped once, and then to NEAR, that's wrapped twice. So we want to avoid this double wrap. Yeah.
Thank you. One more confusing question. So many users probably know it already, while many are still confused by this. So the bridge does not charge fees, but users still see fees in ETH. Could you please explain why these fees are charged, who charges them, how much can they be in each direction of the transfer, etc., whatever you seem applicable?
Okay, yeah, I can answer that question. First of all, we don't charge any fees for ourselves, but if you are already familiar with Ethereum, you know that to interact with Ethereum blockchain, and that's the case for any other blockchain as well, you need to pay the gas, you need to pay for the execution of this transaction on chain. And we cannot get rid of that with the bridge. So someone needs to pay for the actual transaction to be executed. And in this case, the transaction will be locking your token. So when you send tokens from Ethereum to NEAR, you lock your tokens first on Ethereum with a certificate emitted by the locked transaction. You can go to NEAR and you can get your tokens on NEAR side. So these are two transactions that needs to be executed, and we need to pay the fees for both of these transactions. Right now, since NEAR gas is so cheap, we are covering the fees for the user on NEAR side. But on Ethereum side, the gas price is highly volatile, so we are not covering these fees for the user. The user needs to pay themselves this fee, and this is a transaction they need to do on using MetaMask. Usually, these are two transactions. One is the same for it should be the same for people who is used to use RC20 tokens. It's one for approving the usage of your token, and one for actually making the transfer itself. Okay, so we as referring to the Rainbow Bridge, don't charge any additional fees other than the fees charged by the base blockchain. Okay, so if for some reason gas price in Ethereum drops to zero, you basically can bridge assets from one chain to the other completely for free. We know that this is hard. This will be hardly the case, but all the fees you're paying, it's for execution of the transactions on chain. All the code is also public, is open source, so you can check the source code on Etherscan or GitHub. So see, all these can be checked. But yeah, the fee that needs to be paid on MetaMask is only for the transaction that it's being executed.
Thank you, Marcelo. Tommy asked the question, what protocol on the Ethereum network is Aurora most similar to, and how is it perhaps slightly different?
Well, I don't think I completely get the question, but I can give you a high level of the similarities and difference between Aurora and Ethereum. Like Ethereum is a full blockchain that englobes like consensus, networking layer, nodes, virtual machine transactions, a mempool, that it has a lot of complexity. Right now, Aurora is like we did this decision of implement Aurora as a smart contract on top of Near. Near already provides all, like when you run a smart contract Near, you already get for granted all the consensus part, all the networking part, all that is given for granted, as you are only using a smart contract that you can know that all the execution have been already verified. So basically in Aurora, we don't have any nodes. We are not focusing on building any type of networking or any type of consensus. We don't have any sort of validators at all in Aurora. That's one of the reasons we could use ETH as the base fee, because we didn't require economic incentive for validators to run, because we actually don't have any validators. This is just a smart contract seated on top of Near. And these smart contracts, what it provides is execution of the runtime. Like Ethereum right now uses the EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine. We have there is a open source implementation of the EVM, which is the one we're using, and it's been actively developed by a community, and we are also connected with the team in implementing this. So we have this virtual machine on top of Near, and we implemented we connected this virtual machine to all the storage, which is provided as well by Near. There is also already consensus running on top of this state, so we know nothing can go wrong as long as nothing goes wrong with Near blockchain itself. So basically, this is only a runtime running as a smart contract on Near. All the accounts, like all the addresses from Ethereum, all the contracts, all the execution, everything is stored inside this smart contract on Near, which in some sense is very similar to smart contracts on Ethereum. They have a lot of difference, but in a high level overview, these are very similar in like they have some storage, you execute some code and the storage is affected in some way, and there are some security implications about what can be done, what cannot be done. So basically it's the same. So if that's not the question you asked, maybe you can reformulate a bit and I can answer you better.
Thank you, Marcelo.
Yeah.
Back to the token and the gas. So we are implementing the Aurora token right now. Will it be possible, or do you have any plans to use Aurora token for gas on Aurora in the future?
No, not for gas. Right now, this is no plan. Like in the future, when there is a lot of users using Aurora, it becomes too expensive to cover for Aurora Labs the gas for the user. Gas will be charged on ETH, not on Aurora. Maybe we still are designing some incentives for the community to provide services to the Aurora ecosystem itself. We will most likely use Aurora for this, but there are no decided plan yet on this regard. So in particular for fees, they will always be charged on ETH. However, I know there are some designs on Ethereum that allows you to pay for fees in different token than ETH. We might consider as well doing that, but not like forcing people to pay ETH on Aurora, but mostly allowing people to pay fees in Aurora or in any other token. That's certainly possible. Nothing that it's there is no ETA on that. Actually, there is no active discussion in this regard. But it's certainly possible to charge fee using Aurora in the future. Okay.
Back to the similarities of the protocols. This is a clarifying question. So what is the competitive difference of Aurora? Why would one want to build dApp on Aurora as opposed to Neo or Ethereum?
Okay, that's a great question. Well, the first of all is that Aurora has all the benefits, as I was telling you that it's a smart contract on Near, has all the benefits that Near offers as a blockchain, which basically are fast finality. Well, fast finality has two parts. One is finality itself, that there is a concept of finality on Near, and the other it's that actually it's really fast. Like you can have fast finality in 1 second, or you can have slow finality in 2 seconds, which I would say it's pretty awesome for several use cases. And the other is that the fee that needs to be paid, it will be in ETH in the future, but it will be the equivalent cost of the gas that needs to be used in the Near transaction. And this gas, the fee itself is extremely cheap. Like probably it's better if maybe I can show you some of the transactions, but the main reason it's we are fully compatible. So whatever you have on Ethereum today, it can be used on Aurora, and it's not about fragmenting the communities because there is a Rainbow Bridge that allows to move a lot of assets. Right now, we have only connectors of fungible tokens, but in the future, we may consider, and not only implemented by us, but by the community itself, to move like voting from some DAOs or NFTs, which are actually being implemented, like moving NFTs from one blockchain to the other, or even calling a function on this side and having the result on the other side. So all of this can be done, but Aurora has the fast finality and very cheap transactions. So that's the main advantage of why you would build in Aurora. There is arguably another great argument for building on top of Aurora, and it is that you automatically get compatibility with all the Near ecosystem without actually requiring a bridge. Like there is no bridge here because that's not required. They live in the same blockchain, so they can communicate within each other, use inside the Near virtual machine without going outside of the system. Okay, so just let me use this moment. Maybe you can look for another question, but it didn't mean. Let me check that I'm sharing there. I want to show you. I want to show you one particular. The cost of one transaction. So you can see here in accounts, Aurora. This is the Aurora smart contract lives in this account. And these are transactions that are been happening. You can see here that there is one transaction 16 seconds ago, 17, 19, 19. So there are several transactions per second happening here. Like that's at least the capacity that we expose. It's only limited by the Near capacity. So it also offers like high throughput. Let me show you one of these transactions. So you see the fee here, it's 0.02 Near, which is if the Near it's around $10, this is 1 cent. It's the cost of this. Sorry, it's 10 cents. 10 cents is the cost of these transactions right now on Near, and I would say that this is quite expensive transaction. So this is not the most common use case. It's hard to tell right now what is this transaction about. But yeah, in general, it's still way cheaper than any transaction on Ethereum these days. It's almost instant, the finalization of this transfer. And well, right now in this particular moment, I cannot say this will last forever, but transactions are free, and this means that actually our relayer is running with all the cost of the gas for the users. Okay, so that's the three main advantages: fast finalization, cheap transactions, and full integration with Near. And the fourth is that nonetheless you can move your assets back and forth from Ethereum to near an Aurora in this case.
I see. To continue the conversation about the protocol differences and similarities, Tommy says it sounds a lot like Matic, a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum. Why does Near need a scaling solution? I thought its whole point of difference was that it provides high transaction speed.
Oh, Aurora is not trying to scale Near. Aurora is trying to scale Ethereum, actually, and it's using the scalability properties of Near. That's what we are using. If I said the other way, I'm sorry, like the main purpose of Aurora is to try to scale Ethereum. Right now, Ethereum transactions are slow for finalizing, and they are very expensive to use. So Aurora is trying to address these two particular problems, while at the same time remain completely compatible. So it's not trying to scale with a different blockchain. It's using exactly the same interface. You can use the same contracts, same tooling. Like if you're a developer, you can use Warhat, Web3, Waffle, Truffle, whatever. If you're a user, you can use every application you use today, like MetaMask. Etherscan will be soon integrating with Aurora. So you can use the same set of tooling in Aurora. So we are trying to scale Ethereum, not Near.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It looks like we are running out of questions from users at the moment. Is there anything else, anything interesting, exciting that you would like to add, Marcelo, about the bridge, about Aurora in general? Something you want to share while we're waiting for the questions? See if we get more questions from users.
Well, we have been working in several dates. So let me just talk about something particularly technical. I'm very used to work with a lot of technical stuff in Aurora. That's what I'm more excited about. So one thing we were discussing yesterday was about users still needing to have wETH on Aurora, like wrapped ETH, the same as in Ethereum. And the reason for that is because DeFi applications requires to have this to access ETH as an RC20. So here comes the interesting part. We don't want to move wETH to Aurora, as we discussed before, because we're discouraging the usage of wrapped token through the bridge. So one solution is to actually deploy the same wETH token on Aurora, but we found that suboptimal because actually they will be two different contracts, and it will inherit all the bad properties of wETH itself, which we are trying to avoid in the first place. So one of the solutions we figured it out was that we were in this unique position where we can create a contract on Aurora that actually uses the ETH token, the base ETH token, and offer the RC20 interface. What does it mean? That we can have this contract that it works as exactly any other RC20, but you don't need to deposit or withdraw any tokens as you do in wETH, and you nonetheless can work, you can manage your ETH from this contract. Like something like this is also possible on Ethereum, but it requires like a protocol upgrade, all the community agreeing on having one contract that does this in particular. So right now on Aurora, we are in this position where we don't need to do, like doing protocol upgrades is significantly easier here, since we are only dealing with the virtual machine, and we can have this precompile that allows us to create this contract to offer the RC20 interface without actually needed to wrap the token. So basically, you will have only ETH, and you can use ETH either from the base layer, like from MetaMask, you can send your ETH from one account, from one address to the other, or you can treat ETH as if it were an RC20, and you can send the token. This is more relevant for DeFi applications or whatever other type of applications which are used to manage RC20 rather than base ETH. So that's one of the things we were discussing yesterday, and maybe some of you which are technical find this useful.
Great, Marcelo. Thank you for the comment. One more question. How far along into the production is Aurora? Is all functionality up and drying, or is there still something that needs to be built?
Like I would say, in practical terms, we're fully live. Like the Aurora is on mainnet, and you can use it. You can deploy your contracts, and it's fully functional. What does it mean? Like you can use all the features of Aurora. Nonetheless, there are several features that are being built, and there are several partners that are being onboarded. Right now, there are a lot of tools that we are very used to use on Ethereum, like Etherscan, like the Graph, like Chainlink. Those are like third-party tools that we are looking to integrate in Aurora, and we're working with them today to make this happen. On the other side, on the core part of Aurora, there are still some more features that we are looking to build. Like one of the main features that we're always working on, it's about performance. Like we're always looking about how we can make our transactions even more cheaper, how we can lay out the storage in a better way for the user so that they need to pay even less, migrations take less effort. And there are some other features, like, for example, I was telling you before that you can communicate from near to Aurora because they live in the same ecosystem. Right now, it's very easy to have a smart contract near that talks to a smart contract on Aurora, but it's not completely possible to do it the other way around. So that's something we're working on. So that's totally doable, but it's not live yet, that particular feature. So these are features that are very custom for Aurora. And there are other features like are not exactly on Aurora, but on the layer. Like there is a wide number of RPC functions that can be called on Ethereum nodes. Not all of them are supported in Aurora, only the main ones are supported. So we are still working on implementing other RPC commands. So basically, it's a yes and no questions. We are fully working on mainnet. So whatever contract you have on Ethereum, you can right now go to Aurora and deploy it. If you rely on some of these external tools, they are not available for Aurora. We are working most likely on it. If you're not, please stay in touch with us, and maybe we can try to partner with this app, third-party app, to onboard them on Aurora. So from a technical point of view, we are live. We're ready. People need to use it.
Very nice, thank you, Marcelo. There's one more popular question. So sometimes when gas fees are very high, users cannot finish the transfer, finalize the transfer. They are worried that their funds will be lost and will never be recovered. Plus, sometimes they don't know how to find the transaction. They lose the transaction hash. They don't know how to scan it. Could you elaborate on what options they have to restore the transaction? Will they lose their funds, or will the funds stay there forever? How much time they have to finalize the transaction? All the aspects to this question.
Okay, so that's a very good question. In the new interface, it's great news. The new interface is smart enough, finally. So when you log in with your accounts, it will scan automatically all your transfers through the bridge, and it will display them all. There, yeah, just like that. Even all transfers that have not been done with this interface, they will nonetheless be detected and be presented to you. And those that needs to be yet finalized, you will be able to finalize it through that interface. You might remember, I can as well share my screen again here when I was logging. Okay. So I'm logging. Okay, but I don't want to send anything else again. Okay, here are all my transfers. You can see Okay, it's not automatically. You need to click this button. You can see here scan transfer history. If you click there, you will get all the transfer you have done. So basically, between this pair of account that I used logged in, I have done all these transactions, like 100 DAI from Ethereum to Near, then 50 DAI from Ethereum to Near, a few transactions from Ethereum to Aurora. You can see some ETH, some DAI, and then some transfer from Near to Aurora, back and forth. Okay. In particular, here you can see one transaction that I started from Near to Ethereum and have not been finalized yet. This transfer, I started it on April 6th. So I would say several months ago, at least 6 months ago, half a year ago, and I still can't finalize it today. I will not do it because I'm not interested in paying the gas fee on Ethereum side right now, but maybe if the gas fee is small enough, I can, actually, we can try to finalize it. It will prompt to sign some transaction. Here is the price. Okay, I need to pay $178 to do it. I will not do it right now, and actually I didn't have enough money to pay for this right now, but you get the idea. Like Ethereum right now, like gas price, I can't see the gas price here, but it's pretty insane. Let's edit. I want to know what's the gas price. Okay, I don't know. So I will not finalize it here, but you can finalize through the new interface. So to your question about how much time do you have to finalize it? From Ethereum to Near, you have 7 days to finalize it. But here's what's happening. We are finalizing those transactions for you, and those get finalized in most likely 5 minutes. All the transactions get finalized automatically. We pay for the gas on Near side. So even if you only have 1 week to finalize a transaction, otherwise it will be hard to recover. It's nothing to actually think about because we are finalizing all these transactions automatically. From Near to Ethereum, there is no limit about when it needs to be finalized. It can be, as you can see, this transaction is pretty old, 6 months old, and I have not finalized it. And I can finalize it now if I would have $200 in my Ethereum accounts on it. I just don't have that amount right now on Ethereum. On that, yeah. So there is no limit, and you can finalize it at any time, and you will get all your transactions here. If you click scan transfer, this process may take some time. I just click. There is a progress bar running here on top. There will be no new transactions here because all new transactions are automatically captured, and these are already my old transactions. But yeah, please just go to rainbowbridge.app, and there you will be able to use your transactions to recover all your previous transactions, even those that are not finalized yet.
Gotcha. Thank you, Marcelo. Question about MetaMask or wallets in general. Are there any other wallets that are supported by Aurora? And what happens if the user transfers funds to another wallet which is not supported? What to do in this case?
Well, first of all, I'm super familiar with MetaMask, not very familiar with other wallets. In particular, what does it mean that if the wallet works like a third-party app that interacts through the RPC with the chain, then absolutely you can use other wallets. I remember some web wallets where they have already configured a set of endpoints, like you can use Mainnet or Girly or Rinkeby or other Ethereum chains. But in this case, you cannot use Aurora because you need to configure specifically our endpoint. Whatever wallet that allows you to configure a custom endpoint or that already has Aurora, but I don't think any wallet is showing Aurora today, you can use it on Aurora. So what about recovering? Recovering, there is no, if you send tokens inside Aurora from one account to the other, and the other account is an address that you have in another wallet, the tokens are not lost because they are being, the tokens are in the ownership of the address, which is in the wallet. Like each wallet is managing some private keys, and each private keys is associated with an address. So the tokens will be in that address. So you need somehow to access your private key to actually manage your tokens in that address. If your wallet doesn't support Aurora, it may be a little bit difficult to extract them. Right now, we recommend MetaMask. That works really fine. I'm not completely sure about which other wallets can work on Aurora, but it only depends if they allow custom endpoints or not. If they don't allow custom endpoint, you cannot use it. Not to say that the tokens are lost if you get confused and send it to that wallet, but it requires a process about extracting your private key, putting maybe in some supported wallet that even might be impossible for some wallets that don't allow to extract your private key. There are ways to work around that if you can sign a transaction to move the assets away from this address. That should also be possible. But all these are absolutely non-intended use case. So be careful, try to use supported wallets only. If you use an unsupported wallet, your tokens are not lost, but you need to get in touch with us. That might be a hard request to manage, so it might take a little bit of time, but it can be managed. This is to say that Ethereum and Aurora offer exactly the same interface, so whatever works here, works here. So sending to another wallet would not necessarily will not necessarily get your tokens lost, unless there are some wallets that I'm not super aware of. But yeah.
I see. All clear now. Let's encourage more users to try our bridge. If they want to test it, where do they go and where do they get test tokens?
For the bridge, okay, if you want to test the bridge, there is a bridge running on testnet between near testnet and Girly. Okay, so if you need tokens there are plenty of testing RC20 tokens that you can use. If you're looking for actual Girly tokens, there is a faucet, but basically you need to find any online faucet. I cannot give you anywhere right now because I don't have anything from the top of my mind. Let me see if my browser autocompletes. No. Okay, so you just need to Google Girly faucet, and then you'll have test. If there is no test Aurora right now, for getting test near tokens, you just need to create one account on near testnet. And last time I did it, which was a few months ago, you got automatically 200 near tokens. So you get plenty of test near tokens, and on Girly side, you can get, there is a TST token, RC20 token that you can use for testing. There is faucets for actual ETH, test ETH on Girly. So all that can be used.
Perfect. Fabulous, Marcelo. This was a very productive session. You've given us a lot of useful information. We'll also take the excerpts from the video and probably post it online for users to be able to read more and get acquainted more with this information.
Yeah.
We will conduct more live sessions in the future. We are actually planning to do them on a regular basis so that users get to know our developers, our team, and get first-hand information from people who are directly involved in developing the bridge and developing Aurora. For now, everyone, thank you very much for watching. We are finishing the session and we'll see you again in approximately 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you for everything, Macha. It was more funny than I was expecting, so looking forward to see you again in this, Emma, and to see you all that were participating in the